Hey everyone, so in today's vlog, I'm going to talk about what experiences you may have in your spiritual journey and give you 4 tips on how to help it along. So tip number 1 is begin to follow every single intuitive thought that you have. Intuition, spirituality is basically anything that comes outside of your 5 senses. It's something that comes to you as a thought, an imagination, a visualization, just out of nowhere. That's your 6th sense. So begin to follow every intuitive thought. And I've often given the example of when I started doing this. I remember I was making soup, and I had put the salt into the soup, and then I put the salt back in the cupboard, and I just had this thought come through my mind that said, add more salt. And I was like, what? But I just put, what? Any other day, I would have left it alone and probably ignored it. But on that day, because I had started following every single intuition just a few weeks prior, that was my goal back then, I was like, no, hold on. If my intuition, this is my intuition, I'm gonna follow it. Took the salt out, put it in the soup, and it was perfect. If I hadn't have added that salt into the soup, I would have needed to do it at the end. It would not have had enough salt. So follow every single intuitive thought that you have. That is number 1. Number 2 is begin to stay in silence more often. Forget the need to speak and say words all the time, but really, really put value into silence. Now, what that does is silence encourages honesty. Because in my experience, when you become silent, you begin to kind of talk to yourself in your own mind's eye. And that chatter that is honest, and you get more of it as you practice intuition, that honest chatter, usually it's the most honest you will be with yourself. The stuff that we say is often not as honest, maybe more egoic to people. But our chatter that we have within the head, and I'm not talking about ego right now, I'm just talking about the basic conversations that we have in our mind. We all do it. Those are the honest conversations, and you probably have those conversations when you're driving or you're out for a walk, first thing in the morning, in the shower. You usually have them in moments of silence. So consider consciously becoming more silent. When you have no response to outer stimuli, you begin to see your own truth. So I guess that just relates more to what I just finished saying. So instead of responding to outer stimuli and using your 5 senses, when you begin to practice silence, you don't respond to outer stimuli as much, to very little, as you keep practicing this, because you begin to realize that it doesn't matter. It's not gonna, you don't want to disrupt your own peace. You're in a great place, and you're just not gonna give outer stimuli as much attention. So begin to practice silence. Number 3, once you realize your own truths, you're going to release judgment on others. So I guess this is 2B. It's kind of goes with silence, I guess. So let me say that again. Once you realize your own truths through silence, number 2, you begin to release judgment of others, because you will see the ugliest of ugly your ego is also. For example, you will feel an experience without doing unto others. the greed in you, the hate in you, the jealousy in you. Once you experience this, you naturally understand others more and release judgment. So as you practice silence, the conversations that you kind of have are very truthful. And these silent conversations in your mind's eye that you're having within yourself are so helpful that they begin to teach you how to distinguish your true self from your ego. And as you begin, and this is through silence, as you begin to realize your true self, you see the ego in your mind's eye first, then you begin to see your ego in action, and you will be like, holy shit, that was my ego. Or if you feel a thought of hatred towards another person, you will recognize that as your ego. Jealousy, greed, any of that, before it expands and the ego gets bigger and ugly, because the ego is ugly, you will begin to recognize your own ugly. And as you recognize your own ugly, you release judgment on others, because people act the way they act normally out of fear from their ego, because they don't know any better. And you see that because now you've experienced what your ego, the ugliest of the ugly of your ego, looks like. Okay, that is number 3. The last one, number 4, take care of your body, drink lots of water, hydrate yourself. Drink lots of water. Your organs and cells hold information. Even though you cannot see your chakras, they require healthy habits and routines to spin clockwise and connect to Mother Nature. Mother Nature also spins clockwise. So your chakras, your meridians, and everything in your body, you want to get it spinning clockwise so that you start getting rid of the duality and you begin to connect with Mother Nature, because Mother Nature is the one that aligns your the law of attraction. She's the one that puts the alignments in place and shows you how close you are to your abundance or whatever you want and need, your desires, through her reality, the external reality. So you want to begin the chakral spin clockwise as she is. So hydrate yourself. This spin cannot happen if your body is weak or tired. A weak body mimics a weak mind. So that's a very powerful statement. So your mind, your thoughts, your body, the function of your body is suffering. Your mind and your thoughts create the suffering, the fear, the feelings. Your body holds on to them, and depending on how much negative thought you have, that's how much negative energy your body is going to hold on to, which then turns into disease when your cells start to change because they're just not healthy anymore. They're not getting the sufficient amount of hydration or energy, because when muscles and blood become more stagnant, they suffer. But your mind is causing that suffering, and your body's function is to hold on to that suffering. So really take care of your body, because how weak a person's body is usually reflects on how weak their mind is. And I'm going to end it there. Those are the 4. I hope that helps somebody out there. And if you have any more, please comment below. Love you guys.